moving stuff around, and I was like, "But you're muted." I'm like, "Oh, okay, you were moving stuff around over there."
Got it. I will attend to that.
Excuse me.
So I didn't hit the start recording button until just now. So,
all right.
You are all at the entrance to the Tomb of the Serpent Kings. Your torchbearer Fisk has lit a torch. You are in an earthen hallway with white roots and water dripping slowly down the walls. There's a slight incline heading, or decline, I should say, heading as you head down the hall. The torch appears to reveal some offshoots of the hallway. What do you do?
What does it smell like?
It smells musty, and you when you found the place, there was a lot of moss and other things that you had to pull out of the way to get your way into the hallway. So so it smells kind of like plants, I guess. I'm not sure how to describe that, but it smells somewhat living. It smells living.
Is the excavation older or very recent?
So you inspect the excavation then? Okay. So as you take a look around, you can see where there were roots that had been cut through as part of this excavation, and there are roots that have pushed their way through. You would imagine. Well, why don't you go ahead and make a wisdom roll? So roll a d20 and see if you can get below your wisdom score.
Yes, I rolled a 5, so I got below my wisdom.
Okay. You would say that this is probably about 50 years old. So there are some people in town that might still remember what this was. So if you ever head back into town, you can ask people about it.
So noted. So it doesn't look like it's in imminent danger of collapsing.
It does not. No.
Okay. All right. So we have one torchbearer, fairly narrow hallway at this point.
You can stand two abreast and still have a bit of room.
Okay. So I guess I'll take up lead.
Okay.
I don't know if we need another torchbearer in the back, but we'll get going.
So do you push Fisk in front of you, or does he follow behind you?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I actually saw Fisk is walking alongside me.
Okay, that's fine.
So I'll push if need be, but at this point.
Gandhi will be in the back with Lakshmi behind him.
Okay.
Guess I'm in the middle.
Milo in the middle.
Always the way of it.
So I've decided that Fisk is talkative. If you ever need him to shut up, tell him to shut up. He's asking you who you think is in here and why they were stealing all the stuff from town.
And Rook is very serious about that, and silver is a ritual metal. So,
what kind of rituals?
It is very good for killing some supernatural foes,
Oh,
And she goes, and of course, chalices and those sorts of things for invoking are often made with silver.
Fisk looks back towards his sister and looks back at you and nods and continues with you.
Okay.
Can I give Lakshmi a torch to carry, or is she burdened by carrying the things she's porting?
So she has her hands free. She has a backpack full of stuff that you guys have given her. So yes, she is able to. So in the rules, Fisk is a torchbearer, and basically it says that the way I see it is that he will always have a torch lit. It says torchbearer. Their special ability is provides dim light to everything close and nearby. So to me, that means that he always has a torch lit. But you can use a torch with a usage die with Lakshmi. So go ahead and note that. And I think the usage die.
D6. I put it in my character sheet. Let me see what the.
Yeah.
I think it's UD6.
Yeah, it's
so I'll put a D6 and call it torch in I'll call it Lakshmi's torch. Put that in roll for your party.
Okay. So you've come to this this tomb in the ends of summer, but you are starting to feel a bit chill already, unless you brought like cold clothes. So
what so does this? What is the floor? Is the floor dirt? Is it stone? Same question for the walls.
the walls are dirt. The ceiling is dirt. The floor is stone.
Okay. And you said there's offshoot hallways.
Yes.
Are those all just dug out and or packed dirt, or do they have some sort of kind of like bracing or like out of?
Sure. The tunnel does have bracing of thick wooden beams,
Okay.
about every 10 feet or so.
Okay.
And there is a brace at the entrance to each hallway.
Okay.
So can we discern any like that the cold is coming more from side passages or from the path ahead of us?
It's coming from the path ahead of you.
Okay. And she sort of looks back and says, past these first two side things, they're very close. They've probably been inspected.
Well, you were the first to pull back the moss. So,
oh, great. Well, then it's all new.
yeah,
well,
this is all new.
Well, then I suppose.
Also, no one in town is brave enough to do this.
Oh, really?
No
Or
one.
stupid enough.
Stupid,
Okay.
brave, foolhardy. No, this is all new.
All right. So then I suppose we should take a look in case it gives us some hint as to what's further on before
Sure.
plunging us into danger. So I suppose call right hand and go that way?
Right hand. Okay. So, as you head into the hallway into the right, it ends in a rectangular room, and you see in the center of the room a wooden coffin.
Just a plain wooden coffin?
It is unadorned.
We'll step aside from Milo.
Yeah. I'll excuse me. Does it look as though I know you said that we were the first we're the first ones here. Does it look like it's been disturbed at any point, or there's been any like movement, like the dust around on the floor, kind of like or whatnot, recently moved?
Sure. You take a look around from the torchlight, and you appear to be making the only footprints in the dust
Okay.
for a very long time.
And yeah, I think I'll probably kind of, I think I'll kneel down and kind of start eyeing the kind of like the edges and the sides of the coffin. Maybe kind of like running my fingers along the edges, trying to see as to whether there's anything that I should be kind of wary of.
Okay.
This is probably not my first time in a tomb.
Sure. So the coffin is taller than you would expect for a human being. But it sits on the stone floor, not on a dais. So there appears to be no gap between the wooden coffin and the stone floor.
And the the dead serpent people who I came across, who I found who had the map.
Yes.
Are they larger than man size? Like, is there a reason why they would be like? I would think they would need a coffin or whatnot of this kind of like depth.
So they were. How tall are you?
I'd probably say maybe like 5'7".
Okay. So the bodies you found in your adventure were maybe 6'4", 6'6".
Okay.
But their chests weren't like overly large.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I mean, it seems like there's a lot of space in this, which seems strange. And if it's just a wooden coffin, sure, you can kind of like build a wooden coffin, but it seems like it's strange that there's a lot of extra space in here for what is probably living in this. Which definitely kind of like makes me wary.
Sure.
Does anyone happen to have like either a spear or a long sword or something like that?
Or a crowbar?
I have a dagger, but I also have a familiar who is a 6-inch tall moon-faced man. I don't know what familiars do in this game.
What is your familiar's name?
That's amazing.
Brandy. Gandhi and Brandy.
Gandhi and Brandy.
I'm here for it.
I'm spelling it with an I, though. Brandy with an I.
Sure.
A moon face.
Humanoid. Gender neutral. Hairless. Little homunculus thing.
Okay.
I'm not sure if we want to risk Brandy, but does the top of this thing look like it does need to be like pried off? Did I feel like kind of, or get a feeling of kind of either weight or of nails or something like that, or is it something that could just be pushed off?
From your inspection, you find that there are 4 nails at the cardinal directions.
Okay. Does the porter happen to have a crowbar by any chance? Because I do not.
Okay. Let's see here. I'll roll a d20, and I will assign her a likely stat, in this case of 12. And let's see what she's got. Turquoise. A 9. Yes, she has a crowbar.
Fantastic. All right.
And I'll add that to my list of stuff she has.
I will. I will ask for the crowbar, and then I think I will kneel down next to the to the coffin and kind of like get the crowbar under it. But I'm going to kind of like, I'm worried that something is going to like come popping out of this thing, so I'm going to kind of stay low and on the side and kind of crack it open that way.
Okay, so you're you're lifting it up from the bottom, or you're lifting up the lid from the bottom of its.
I'm lifting up the lid from the bottom. So basically, I'm kind of like, I will be kneeling over and like kind of getting the thing under and then pulling down from below to kind of like make sure that I'm not kind of like above there, as it were, as I kind of like pry off the lid.
Okay. You slowly pry off the lid, and the rusty nails are reluctant but give way. Nothing jumps out, and nothing else happens. What do you do?
Well, I guess I will also, from that prone position, kind of like kind of push it off to the side, push the top off from the side.
Okay.
And then I guess I'll stand up and take a look at what's inside.
Okay. So Lakshmi's standing there with the torch, and you look inside. You see a giant clay statue laying in the coffin of a Yuan-Ti, a snake person. Their arms are crossed. They are bipedal but have a snake head. So you see like a cobra head at the top, kind of like Serpentor from G.I. Joe. And but there's a clay statue inside the coffin.
Okay. Well, I will. I will. I think also with the crowbar, I think I'll kind of like lightly tap on the statue.
Okay.
Get a feeling for whether or not it's hollow or not.
Sure. Lakshmi takes a step back, but you're like, and you tap at it in a few places, and it seems to be very thin and hollow.
Okay. All right. I'm going to take a few steps back and kind of move Lakshmi out of the way as well.
Okay.
And I'm going to kind of heft the crowbar kind of high up into the air so that it like falls and drops down onto the onto the statue to break it.
Okay.
Gandhi sees you start to do this, and I shout out to Lakshmi to come here. You're being paid to carry my things, not not get into too much trouble. Come back here with me.
Very well.
So everyone steps back, and the crowbar is lobbed into the air and slowly turns over and over, and it with the kind of like the head of a serpent with teeth digs into the clay statue, and a gas begins to be emitted and fills the room. If you stay here, you may be exposed to it. What do you do?
I'm going to make bait a hasty retreat out of the room.
Okay. So why don't you make a dexterity roll at advantage, because you were standing so far back.
All right. RFP. D20. This. Eesh. Wow. Nope.
Okay. Make a Constitution check then, as the gas begins to fill your lungs.
All right. Okay. Let's roll one of these 20s again. Maybe it'll feel. Yes.
Okay. You hack and cough, and everybody gets out of your way, and you back out into the hallway. It makes you retch for just a moment, but it does not seem to have harmed you. And the cloud or whatever is slowly dissipating, but it sits in the room, waiting for someone to come and breathe it in.
Maybe we want to try the one across the hall while this dissipates. Then we come back and investigate what's left.
Sounds good to me.
Great. So
I'd say sounds good to me, and I make no motion to enter that room. Yes, that sounds like an excellent plan. And I just stand there in the hallway.
Also, I just want to say, Stephen, the picture for Gandhi.
Oh, you added a picture?
Yeah, it took me a little while.
Yeah. I did a search for a portly wizard, and I got nothing.
Yeah, I just ended up going for fantasy aristocrat.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Real good.
So when you mentioned though that that everyone should move into the next room, Brandy takes that as instruction and begins climbing off of your shoulder to go run into the next room.
No. Come. Let's let more experienced dungeon delvers deal with this. Why don't you remain here on my shoulder?
Oh. Okay.
I keep a little bit of cracker and feed it to them every now and then. So.
Okay. They look like a squirrel when they're eating crackers. So
on your shoulder, I like this.
Yeah. So
yeah, go ahead.
You're gonna head directly across the hallway, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Inside, you find an equally sized room and an equally shaped coffin.
All right. I guess we will repeat.
Okay.
See previous.
Okay. So you crouch down beside the coffin and use the crowbar to lift up the lid.
Mm-hmm.
The nails come undone, and before you is a clay statue of a snake man with its arms crossed.
All right. I will go back further than previous and make sure other people are not in the room and do the same tossing the crowbar shtick.
How did you get the crowbar out of the other room? Oh, I guess I described it. I guess you kept...
I guess that's true. Yeah, I probably didn't, actually.
So let's rewind a little bit.
Yeah. I guess that's a good point.
So do you want to wait for the room to fully dissipate to get your crowbar back, or do you want to try something else?
I mean, if you think I can hold my breath, go in, grab it, and come back out quickly enough to not be affected by it, I could do that as well.
Since you have time to prepare, I will give you a Constitution check at advantage to do so.
Okay. Did it just fine.
Cool. So, fast forward back. The lid is lifted. You throw the crowbar. The room to the right is clear, and the room to the left is filled with gas.
All right. You want to go investigate the other room?
Sure. It makes sense to figure out if it's the same trick. When I look back at the gas, is it just sitting there, like sort of heavy?
In the room to the left, yes. In the room to the right, it has floated up to the ceiling and kind of been pushed out to the entrance.
So we could go investigate what's in the what's left in the coffin.
Okay. All right, that seems reasonable.
Okay.
But they haven't mixed, right?
No.
Okay, good. Sure.
So what are you doing,
I guess I'll.
Rook?
Oh yeah, what's Rook doing?
If the gas has dissipated in the one area,
Yeah.
you've taken plenty of risk. I'll step forward and see what is there.
Okay. Inside the coffin, there is a broken clay statue, and inside of it, where the neck would be, it is empty except for the following. It contains a golden amulet and the skeleton of a normal snake.
Like, you mean a little ground-dwelling snake, right?
Exactly.
Rook, does the amulet have anything anything on it or any distinguishing characteristics?
I will take a stick that I'd used as a walking stick, I guess, coming in here, and I will pick it up with that stick and essentially show it over to our mage.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll step into the room and ask Lakshmi to kind of shine her torchlight over it, and I'll take a look at it.
Okay. Before you take a look at it, go ahead and roll a usage die for the torch.
Okay. There it is. 1.
Oh.
Wow.
Goes down to D4.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's get rid of that. Be red. All right.
Okay. So you see before you a golden amulet, and inscribed on the golden amulet is a snake wrapped around a dagger.
Have I excuse me, have I seen this iconography before?
Tell me more about your character's history.
Mage, you know, learn.
Did you grow
wizard.
up in the town that we found you in?
Sorry?
Did you grow up in the town that we started this adventure in?
No, I imagine myself as traveling around a lot, but you know, seeking. I imagine my character as being academically trained, so you know, interested in lore, sitting around reading books a lot, and eating wine and cheese. So would I have seen this religious iconography or something in my studies of in my academic experience?
You might. Let me ask you one more question. Were you on the adventure where Milo found the bodies?
Milo, was I?
I feel like I think it's unusual. I think it'd be unlikely. It sounds like if there's any kind of connection at all, it'd be between you and Rook.
Yeah, I think I agree with that as well. So no.
Okay.
I was about to ask as whether or not it looked familiar to me at all because of encounter.
Yeah. So it is familiar to you, but as to what it means, why don't you roll your intelligence?
Me?
No.
Okay.
Gandhi.
Gandhi. Okay.
Okay.
Success.
Fantastic. So yes, this represents both a church and a group of assassins that are pretty famous in the area. No one knows what happened to them, but all of a sudden, decades ago, they stopped appearing and stopped doing assassination work. It's a fairly evil religion, really willing to sacrifice people to dark gods and stuff.
Okay, I'll relate to this as I kind of peer over it, perhaps put a monocle to my eye and say, you know, I'm recount this as I'm looking over it. Yes, I've seen this before, and that information. And sorry, is this group the Yuan Ti, or is that the?
Yuan Ti is the race. Yeah.
Okay.
Some called them the Silver Tongues.
So the Silver Tongues had a gold amulet?
Yes. If it were your religion, Rook, you'd imagine this is what initiates might wear.
Okay. So the Silver Tongues would be a reference to their daggers then?
And their words.
Okay. Oh. All right. All right. And then the snake skeleton seems like a ritual thing?
Yes.
Okay. So to me, this is loot. So it kind of goes in the porter's bag for figuring out later.
Okay.
Yeah, good call. I don't want to touch it.
I figure we have like yeah, exactly. We probably have like this oil slicked bag or whatever, that you just put everything in for later.
Sure. TBD. Okay. The poisoned gas has left the room on the left, has evacuated the hallway.
Okay.
Guess we go take a look over there then. What do we see amongst the rubble?
Yes. Inside you find a gold amulet and a snake skeleton.
All right. Guess we'll do the similar thing and toss it in the bag.
Yep.
Okay.
I didn't bring a 10-foot pole, but I have a 3-foot stick. So there we go.
If you need to, right outside the door is a forest and a creek. So
awesome.
if you guys need to get firewood or go fishing, it's all out there.
All right. Excellent.
Okay.
Hey, maybe our porter has a 10-foot pole. You never know.
Yeah. Not to roll. Yeah. It wouldn't be obvious. It's just in their bag, right? It's a collapsible 10-foot pole.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's see here. I guess we move on to the next ones.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There's two more, right?
Yeah. So do you go to the one on the left or the one on the right?
Yeah, let's just keep up how we've been doing it. I guess we went right first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Inside you find a larger room, a wooden coffin on a 1-inch stone dais, I guess, it's a raised coffin on 1 inch of stone, cut stone, and is also otherwise unadorned.
All right. Well, might as well continue the trend.
Okay.
So, lean down and crack it open in a similar manner.
Okay. As you look inside the coffin, you do see a full-size skeleton of a Yuan Ti.
Okay.
And as the light shines in there, you can see near near the left hand of the skeleton is a silver ring. And you notice that finger is missing. There are no bones for that finger.
Interesting. I think I'll probably call over Gandhi and ask them if this looks familiar, or if they've ever seen anything like this.
That's a good question. I'll take my dagger and use it to pick up the ring and take a look at it.
Okay. It is the inside of the ring is inscribed with flowing runes. Like,
can I have I seen the runes before?
You definitely recognize one of the runes as snake.
Okay.
But you'd have to roll to.
Let's see if I recognize any other ones.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a 3.
Okay. Yeah. This is a ring of the snake familiar.
Ring of the snake familiar. Is that familiar in the sense like familiar like my familiar, like Brandy?
Yes, like Brandy. But it could also be a pun. You're not sure.
Okay.
Yuan-Ti are well known for their wordplay.
Yeah.
They're the silver tongues.
Yeah. I will. I'm going to set it back down just in the coffin for now.
Okay.
And I recommend we go check out the other coffin, check out the other room. I assume there's a coffin in there. Check out the other room and then kind of rethink this ring situation before we take it away. We'll just kind of drop it off the dagger back into the coffin there.
Okay. It falls off your dagger and rolls around a little bit and comes to a stop.
Okay.
You head back into the room on the left, and on a 1-inch raised stone floor, there's a wooden coffin.
I will be happy to repeat.
Okay.
You know the drill.
Okay, cool enough. Got to make sure you tell me what you do.
Oh yeah.
Okay. You lift off the lid of the coffin and you find the skeleton of another Yuan-Ti, and in their hands is an old tome.
This seems like your department.
Oh, verily. Does it? Is there writing on the cover?
There is.
Is it written in the same runes, or is it common, or?
It is not written in runes, but it may not be a language you know.
Is this a roll to see if I know it?
I'm thinking about it. In your studies, when you found books on the Silver Tongues, examples of their language were there. So you do recognize it as their language, their written language.
Sure, but I wouldn't. Yeah, there's no reason I would speak it, but I could at least identify it as such. Okay.
Yeah. It's definitely theirs.
Yeah. Dagger. I'll kind of reach down and flip the cover open and kind of rifle through the pages with the tip of the dagger.
Sure. Both you and Rook, as you look at it, realize that this is a prayer book. Time has taken most of the pages, but there is what appears to be a few usable pages inside the prayer book.
That feels useful. I'm imagining they're all just kind of falling out. I don't want the whole book, but can I just grab the couple of useful pages out of there?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Take
So
the ring and put it in the loot bag.
yeah, that was what I was about to ask. What you guys wanted to do with the ring?
I'd sort of picture it being a thing that turns your finger into a snake.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. That's genius.
But that's just in my mind.
Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, we do have hired help in case we need a snake finger to be produced.
Do you say that out loud?
Well, no, because she didn't say that out loud.
Wow.
Brooke didn't say that out loud to me, so this is all table talk.
Okay. Just making sure.
So one of the things is these coffins are on a raised platform.
Yes.
If I were to pick them up and push one aside just to make sure that there isn't something beneath.
Nice.
Okay. All right. So how do you do that, Rook?
Do they seem like they're... I probably would give it a push with knee and foot at the bottom, like at the end, the bottom-ish end of the coffin. That makes sense.
Okay.
So,
The coffin can definitely be moved by force.
all right. I will do that then. Again, just seeing... so do you need me to roll, or...
No.
Okay.
Do you just put your shoulder into it and?
Yeah, I just
push
kind of
off?
give it a push. I mean, I'm not being crazy if I get a lot of resistance, but yeah.
Sure. Yeah, and Gandhi takes about 4 steps backwards, back towards the hallway.
Okay. So, as you push the coffin off of the raised stonework, it makes, it's not like a loud noise, but it's definitely scraping, a scraping noise. But you manage to push it about halfway off when you see a curved impression in the stonework, and there is a small pouch, a really old pouch.
All right. Excellent. And you said it's just a little pouch. Can I retrieve it like with my stick, or do I need to
Sure.
reach out? Okay, yeah.
It has strings that have cinched it, so you can just lift it up by the.
Okay. And we'll kind of take it out, put it where there's good light, and sort of open it up then, I suppose.
Okay. Before you even put it to the ground, you hear what sounds like metal hitting metal.
Awesome.
The sound that you would normally hear when you're paying way too much for good wine and having to drop a lot of coin onto a table.
So familiar.
And as you open the pouch, you see that there are 3 silver pieces inside, each bearing the mark of the silver tongues.
Okay, so silver tongue tokens. Hopefully we'll find the game arcade where you use them. Okay.
What I would say is you can use them in the market as silver pieces, but if you found someone that was looking for artifacts, they might pay more for them.
All right. And then I suppose that encourages us to look under the other one. So look under the other coffin as well.
Okay. As you push the coffin off, you find another impression under the coffin, and you find a ritual dagger of the silver tongues, silver ritual dagger.
All right, someone else can take that. I have daggers.
Well, I think Gandhi would be interested in that if if it's not something. I mean, Rook, you found it. If it's not something you want, Gandhi would take it. But it's definitely a first dibs.
Sure, go for it.
And that ring should go into the loot bag. We'll hand that to Lakshmi. I'm not putting it on, but we definitely need to take it with us. What does the dagger look like, by the way?
It is almost lightning shaped, like a classic lightning bolt, but in a slithering snake-like way.
I like it. I'll just put it in my waistband or whatever.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. So I guess the question comes is, do you want to go back and move the other 2 coffins?
Good question.
Because I mean, it seems like the other ones were just on the ground. It seems like these are probably kind of special because they had the that extra level.
All right. That was certainly my thinking. All right. So we're going to proceed onward, I assume. The next right.
Okay. So at the end of the hallway, you find yourself at a large double stone door. In front of the stone door is another piece of stone about 8 feet wide. No, wider than that. 10 feet wide, 1 foot tall, and 1 foot deep. So a giant stone bar, and it is resting on 2 iron pegs that are in the walls next to the door. The door cannot be opened with this stone bar in the way.
So does the stone bar look like part of the original construction, or was it added later?
It looks like it was added later.
Like to keep something held down there?
For a purpose, yes.
Okay. Then she sort of turns around and says, we're tracking down someone who's going back and forth. She goes, I don't know if they're going through here. But we can proceed.
Well, we can try to proceed. That giant piece of stone looks pretty heavy. I sense that's I look over at the mage. I guess that leaves you and I to tackle this.
Though I may look quite strong, I'm actually quite weak. You're talking about physically moving it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Will you describe the bar and the pins or whatever again?
Sure. So there is a double-sided stone door. It's curved at the top and straight down. On the sides of it, coming out of the wall, are iron pegs that are they protrude from the wall, and then they have a little lip up.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And on top of them is a large piece of stone.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, ain't nothing to it but to move it.
Can I push it from one end? Maybe the pegs allow it to roll along with not much friction. At least give that a try.
I'm gonna go take a look at it without kind of like touching it quite yet. Maybe kind of looking along kind of where the pegs touch the bar, and kind of like where the bar touches the doorway, etc. Do I see anything that I wouldn't expect?
Do you see anything that you wouldn't expect? Tell me how this works. So you take do you take a torch or?
Yeah, I would bring it. So I would bring a torch over.
Okay.
And kind of try to get some light there, and I might even take out. I might even take out like a dagger or something like that.
Okay.
And kind of run it. I don't know how flush it is against the wall or whatnot, but I might maybe kind of like try to see if I can wedge anything in there or not, and same on the bottom. Bottom is probably less likely, but just to see if there's anything unexpected.
Okay. So you bring a torch over, and you take a look. Do you want to be on the left side or the right side?
Right side.
Okay, so you're along the right side. And the stone is obviously, cut for this shape, but it is somewhat roughly cut on the sides.
Mm-hmm.
And on the lower right-hand corner, it's not like a 90-degree angle. It's like it's been chipped.
Mm-hmm.
And you see behind the stone, like you can put your dagger in there, but as you're doing that, you feel that the dagger could like go towards the wall some, like there's
Mm-hmm.
some space there.
Mm-hmm.
And as you bring the torch over, you see that there is some there's a gap above the iron in the wall.
Okay. I mean, I'll inform my fellows. I think we need to take this bar off, but I think it'll be tricky and dangerous to do so. We might want to try. I mean, I don't know if we'd be able to do it kind of from farther away or not, but at the very least, we'll want to kind of maybe, I don't know, do it one.
When I saw you sticking your dagger into the place that you did, I think I'll pull out the lightning bolt dagger. Does this seem like it would fit in there better? Is it like, is there a slot for this?
So you trade places with Milo, and bring the torch over. The dagger doesn't seem to fit any better than Milo's dagger did.
So I think my question might be to take the torch and look for if this bar is placed back, like taken off and placed back on occasion, if this is a ongoing latching system of some sort. I mean, does it look like it doesn't look like it was just put there because those pegs are like in the wall, right?
Yeah, and they are.
So is there a place where this bar would recede to or be stored at, above, below, to one side or the other? Is there a way that if it were pivoted or that sort of thing is what I'm looking for? Like, okay. Is there a housing for the bar for someplace other than on the door?
Okay. So as you look up, you see that in the ceiling above the stone arch of the door, there is a large wooden beam about 8 feet long, and at the end of it, which is towards the entrance, there's a very large piece of stone attached to it. and they are, for lack of a better word, it appears to be a very large hammer.
Oh. So if we could release that beam, it would break the bar.
If you could release it, yes.
Okay.
So on the flip side, there might be some mechanism such that it might do something opposite of that.
Okay.
I.e., when I think of a large hammer over a door, that makes me worried about going through that door.
This seems like a sensible response.
You do not find a place that you would store the stone block.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh. Is there, Rook, I assume that you point this out to everyone, so is there room to, is there room to move, is there room to stand to either side and move the bar? Is it possible to move the bar without standing directly in front of the door? Like one person on either side, move it, so that when this thing comes swinging down, inevitably, nobody will be standing in front of the door.
So, to answer your question, if you had two Milos, they could pick off the stone and put their backs flush to the side walls.
Mm-hmm.
If you had two Gandys, the stomach would stick out.
Sure.
And not do what you want. So,
makes sense.
Yes, there is room, but not much room.
So here's another question. This feels like it probably takes some time, but how tall is the ceiling? Or I guess how high is that? High up is that beam?
Oh, Mark's frozen.
Yep. Caught him in a moment where he was looking very sincerely at us all, though.
He is.
I will be RB while he unfreezes.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing that we found seems like a key.
No. I'm mostly wondering whether or not we can go cut down a tree and wedge it up there to stop this thing from coming down, as it were.
To stop the hammer from coming down?
Yeah.
So you're thinking of it as an attack or something to break the bar?
I'm thinking my concern is that if we move the bar, this thing's going to come down. And smash us.
But you're a thief. You can certainly work out the mechanism, right?
In theory, yes. Right.
So I think what it is if that one bar comes up, that's what brings the hammer down.
Yeah.
So if we can keep it weighed down, right?
Oh, I'm worried that there's something on the other side.
Oh.
I can go look on the other side as well, but my gut says there's something on both sides. So just the raising it at all.
See, but if there's that thing right there, that suggests that that's the trigger. When it raises, it's what sets off any mechanism. We have to see if it's on the other side.
Right.
Like if either
my bet is that there's one on the other side, and that it's basically if we lift it up, something will give, and this thing will swing down and smash in the middle or something.
Right. Oh, no. I get you there. What I'm saying is what the lever is. So he said that there was that slot right behind the one peg, right? Okay. So that has to be that peg itself can physically move.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it can go up and down.
Yes.
So one, does the other side have that on the door? But then if we can prevent it from doing that thing.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So wedging. Oh, okay. So locking this down. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah. But we still have to get the bar off. But we'll see if we can do that.
How can we? Yeah, interesting. Yeah, interesting. We're discussing as to if we think that these pegs are going to move when we move the bar, if there's some way that we can kind of pin the pegs.
Oh, I see. Like the like it's holding the pins down.
Yeah, the holding the pegs down.
That's
basically.
The trigger for the big hammer.
Right, and so like if we lift it off, those pegs are going to move up. So the question is, can we somehow pin those in place somehow before taking off the bar?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like physically jamming dagger, or how much? When you investigated it, did you see like room above where the pins are sticking out?
I mean, I think that was. I think so. Like, I think my assumption is, and Mark, go ahead and correct me if I'm wrong, is that the pins go further into the wall and that there's space above them, or at least a little bit of space, probably not a lot of space, probably enough space that it's probably hidden by the bar itself for it to go up, basically. And so can we jam something in there so that it won't go up? And I don't know about that.
We have crowbar.
We do have a crowbar, but I don't know if we have enough space to wedge that. How much space is there behind the bar to the wall, or is there not? Is there barely any at all, Mark?
The stone is not cut like perfectly sized.
Right.
There's probably about there's about 1 millimeter of space between the block and the wall on the right side, and there's about 1 millimeter of space between the block and the peg on the left side, the lip of the peg.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. So like we could scoot the bar out a little bit, but not by much.
Yeah.
To be able to get something in there.
So first thing is to check to see if there's space behind the bar on both of the pegs or just one.
I think there's on both sides. Am I reading that correctly, Mark? There's a little bit of space on both sides.
When you know what you're looking for, you can see it. It'd be very hard to see it otherwise, but yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think.
And just because I wasn't sure if I was clear earlier, way earlier, not related to this, and I apologize, but Gandhi, when you looked at the book that had the pages, those pages actually had like something written on them. They weren't just blank sheets. I just want to make sure that was understood.
Yeah, I got that. Those were kind of the only 2 sheets that weren't, water damaged or rotted away. Yeah. So I just grabbed those out, and I
just wanted to make sure that you didn't think that like there was just nice empty pages that you could use to write something on.
No. I took it that there was something, prayers, I believe you said, that were written on it.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yep.
Okay, well, so let's ask the first question. Does it look like we have space to jam anything in back there that might prevent it? If we're correct in thinking that these pins are going to move, is there space for us to jam anything in there to prevent them from moving?
if you had access, if the stone wasn't in the way of it, yes, you could stick something in it.
Right. Okay. Well, let's try like a little experiment here. Either I or both I and Rook. Maybe we can. Actually, I think having all three of us at the same time. Like, I feel like maybe we should see if we are correct on this. Like, if we lift one end a little bit, let's see as to whether or not that thing whether the peg goes up, and also if so, if we can if one person's hand can just kind of like pull it back down, and like if that is the case, then maybe we can kind of, I don't know, tie it down with rope or something like that.
Or Lakshmi can hold one of them down. Her brother can hold the other. You two can pull the bar off, and I can stand back and supervise the operation.
So here's the problem with that.
Yes.
Lakshmi and Fisk would then have to hold that forever.
No, just they'll keep it held down. You'll open the door. We'll go safely through, and then they can let go and then run in behind us.
And then you will be on the other side of the hammer.
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe no. Anyway, so back to plan A. Why don't we go ahead and try to very gently, very slowly lift one end, and maybe have maybe Lakshmi or Fisk try to hold or pull down the thing while we do so.
Okay.
Okay. Why don't we start right off with like a loop of rope or cloth that they have something to hold on to.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. All right. I'm going to put rope in the porter's bag for free without having to roll for that. And so Lakshmi pulls out some rope, gets a loop ready. And so Fisk is on the right-hand side and goes to push up on the stone, if I understand you correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. And as he lifts it up, the peg slowly, very slowly starts to rise up. Right. Lakshmi puts the loop of rope around and pulls down and strains, but is able to keep the peg from moving.
Okay, so let's go ahead and let that drop back down on top of the rope. And then probably do the same thing on the other side, and then let's figure out what we're going to tie this rope down to so that it's, pretty secure, so that we can then just lift this thing off. Because if she's straining, then it's definitely trying to pull up pretty hard. So it seems like we probably want to tie it down to something. Is there anything that looked like we could tie this down to in this hallway?
You have earthen walls and stone floors.
So I just have a quick question. Is the stone bar, is it actually barring the door from open, or is it doing nothing else other than holding those pins down?
The door needs to open in your direction.
It needs to open in. Okay, so it's doing. I got you. So it's barring the door from opening. Ostensibly, it's just barring the door, and then we've discovered that it's also holding these pins down.
Right.
Got it.
You could just, tunnel your way through the door.
Tunnel under the door? No. Tunnel around the door?
Picks and axes and carve through the stone.
Sure. Is it possible to tie?
Sherry.
I was going to say, it starts to go back up. When it's doing that space that's in there, can we fill that with something like a mud or a rock, something that will just stop it from being able to go all the way? It doesn't have to be tied to something. It can be blocked by something that will keep it from moving.
Oh,
Away.
that's smart.
I mean, we would have to hold it while we fill it
Right.
on the one side. But
Right.
while it's held down, if we can cram enough debris and stuff up there, it'll hold it for at least a while for us to get through the door.
Yeah, I mean, could we like break down? Could we either jam some wood in there, or could we grab some rocks from outside, or something like that?
It's a big old creek
I mean,
bed full of.
you have plenty of wood from these coffins.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Why don't we go ahead and do that? Why don't we go and break down some chunks of wood or something like that, and then do the same thing that we just did?
Yeah. Block up one, then
Yeah,
the other
I
side.
feel like we probably want to do like kind of like a back and forth type of a thing.
Yep.
And kind of just as we do, go ahead and like kind of like brace stuff inside there.
So like shims, you're putting in.
Yeah, we're gonna shim a little bit, lift the other side, shim a little bit, lift the other side, and just kind of keep shimming until we fill up whatever is there, basically.
Yeah. Or penny it or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Penny it with pebbles.
Okay. All right. This is going to take a while.
Yeah.
So, you've still got the sunlight as the day's getting
Longer.
getting longer
Yeah.
on, but there's enough room. There's enough light in the hallway that since you've moved the moss, that when Lakshmi's torch goes out, none of you have to roll. I mean, Fisk has his as well.
Yeah.
But in the time it takes this to happen, well, you know what? There's a mechanism for a reason. Gandhi, please roll the usage die on Lakshmi's torch.
D4 now, right?
Yeah.
Three.
Okay.
Awesome.
So you've got your torchlight, and you spend your time, and you slowly fill in the spaces so that the pegs don't have anywhere that they can move, and you see a little bit of dust settling around the side of the hammer. It looks like it wants to fall, but you've done what you need to do, and then you finally take the stone block off, and you've got two iron pegs that are not moving upward. The holes in the wall where they would be lifting upward are filled with wood and rock and debris, and you can see the carving in the stone doors of the snake wrapped around a dagger. And the doors are available to you to open.
All right. I'm going to kind of like run my hands up and down, kind of like along the opening middle area, just to make sure it doesn't seem like there's anything, no funny business.
Sure. So you feel a light bit of breeze coming through.
Okay. That doesn't seem strange. Okay, so I will go ahead and open the door, I guess. I'll pull one of them open.
Okay. I will change our map.
Do we want to take a quick bio break by any chance?
Sure. I'd set it for 2:45, but this is good.
Okay.
We could do another one at a little bit later too. So
Yeah.
let's all come back at a quarter after.
Great. Thank you.
Yep. You having fun sharing? Cool.
Yep. I like solving problems.
I'm really glad that me falling off the internet didn't kill the broadcast and all that. I was so afraid that I'd have to like start over and then maybe piece together some YouTube clips, and I was like,
Nah.
oh God.
It's surprisingly resilient.
Yeah.
The Hangouts are, so it's one of the things that I'm concerned when we eventually get chased off of it and have to move to something else. They're all a little bit more touchy.
I wouldn't be particularly worried about us getting chased off of it.
You don't think so? Good.
I mean,
They're
they're rebranding it, and I don't know. They're rebranding it, and that's about it. Full disclosure: I work for Google.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah, it's just a rebranding thing. Basically, it's just where it's not going to be like Hangouts anymore, basically, because yeah, I think they're kind of moving away from it being called "quote unquote" Hangouts because that was related to Google Plus, and now Google Plus is going away. I think they're going to rebrand it to like Meet or whatever it is. But like the Hangouts on air will still continue to be functional and usable. I mean, thinking about it, it'd be very, 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 very stupid to remove functionality from YouTube that allows people to very easily create content for YouTube, right? So I have no concerns that that is going to go away or anything like that.
Sounds good.
Granted, don't quote me on that because I don't actually work on YouTube. This is just what I have garnered.
Okay.
Hold on for just a second. Just trying to do something here. Okay. So the doors open up, and you are in a large room. Your torches spread out light, as you can see on the map here that I've changed us to. You can come on. Well, I am having some trouble. There we are. Maybe that will work. I was trying to. Anyway, the first 9 squares around the doorway is what you can see right now. The room is larger than your torches can reveal. What do you do?
We have 2 sets of torches. So,
that's what I was looking for. You can currently see about this much.
Okay.
Roll20's not working for me, so I'm going theater of the mind here. Big empty room. Torchlight doesn't cover all of it.
Yeah. So it's not working for you at all, or
yeah. I mean, I'm getting the like chrome killer weight. I'm gonna just try to reload it. Although, okay, yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, and Lakshmi still has her torch out, and she's behind Stroke next to me. As ever, I'm not going rushing into that chamber.
Sure.
I'll let people with more perception and dungeon diving skills to take a lead on that.
Yeah. So with the torchlight, do we see this? It just looked like kind of empty space and stone floor, etc.
So the first thing that you note is that the slowly seeping water that you've been noticing before is now dripping from the ceiling.
Okay.
And you can see that a rivulet is forming in front of you and flowing to your right.
Okay.
The walls are still earthen, but you can smell some decay in the room as well. And in front of where the torches, like as you stare to the front, you see for the first time like some actual color, but you can't make out what it is. There's something other than earthen walls or gray stone floors off in the distance in front of you.
So there's times like these where having 2 standard torches isn't enough. I think I will take another torch and I will light it.
Okay.
And just to add another third light point so that one person can step up forward and we keep the light where it is and we can kind of go around the edge that way.
Okay. So give me an idea of where everyone moves to.
I will probably, since I would picture myself on the left side with my torchbearer on the right, I would probably go more to the left,
Okay.
some steps to the right for the others to come back in and fill in.
Okay. Milo, where are you in all this?
Probably in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm imagining Lakshmi is still on the other side of the stone doors with Gandhi. Is that you're muted?
Yeah, we'll step in behind. We'll step in behind them. So I'll.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as this light floods the room, Rook, you're seeing to your left that the walls do curve around. It's kind of shaped like a. You're kind of an ovoid shaped room. And Milo, you can see as the lights begin to shine around the room. On the far right, you think you can see what you see red and green shapes along the wall directly in front of you. And as you all step in, you realize that this room has been silent for a very long time, and your footsteps are the first noises that have been here in a while. Is there something scraping over there? You're not sure.
So you said green and red on the walls. Is that like paint or is that things moving?
It is not moving.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think I'd ask someone to kind of walk with a torch towards the in the direction that the water is going. I'm going to kind of like, as they do so, kind of stay up against a wall in the shadows, just in case.
Okay.
So we can explore a little bit more, and my being hopefully able to surprise anything that might be.
I'll ask Lakshmi to. I'll point her in the direction that you gestured in. Shine your torch over there so we can see, please.
Okay. Lakshmi moves forward, and those of you who you might have to put your monocle on for this, Gandhi, but the rest of you who aren't as myopic can see the remnants of a I've already forgot the word. Large piece of cloth. Sorry, I can't remember what I'm looking. Tapestry. Thank you. You can see that there's a tapestry hanging along the wall. It seems to be have a red background and have green yuan tea in it, woven into it. And Gandhi, you are absolutely certain that to your right you are hearing scraping noises.
You guys hear that? You guys hear that noise?
I think so. Maybe
sounds like scraping of some kind.
Yeah, maybe you want to put some light over there.
Lakshmi, turn your torch to the right there. What am I hearing?
So
I will sweep my end of the room and then come towards that.
Okay.
So I'm not leaving her all out there.
Okay. So Rook makes a sweep to the left with nothing other than the light shining on the tapestry on the far wall, and comes down. If you don't mind me saying, I think you put your hand on Lakshmi's shoulder and stabilize her a little bit, and she steps forward. And as you have torches now lighting the southern portion of the ovoid room, you see light glinting off of metal. It appears like the white of bone, long since separated from flesh, is in front of you. It's looks like it's all spine. It doesn't make any sense, but on it is what you are assured yourself is armor. And to the sides of it are standing tall spears. These two skeletons begin to rise up and turn around, and they glow with a menacing blue hue. And they let out a loud roar.
Undead. Excellent.
So to give you a slightly less dramatic description, imagine a snake skeleton with arms and a big head, probably 7 foot tall, wearing armor.
And with spears.
And with spears.
Okay.
I'm gonna draw on the map. Is that what are these kind of what we're looking at? Are they?
Yeah, except they were here and here.
Cool. Okay.
All right.
So the red square behind the two snake skeletons is a stone throne. It does not have anything sitting in it.
Okay. Might I recommend if we if these guys, if we back off and they follow us, I might recommend that we beat a hasty retreat to the other room where we can then allow them to make their way through the door and we can smash them using the hammer.
How are we going to unjam the levers?
I'd be hopeful that we could just kind of crawl under it to get back through.
No. I mean, how are we gonna we shimmed the trigger for the trap. How are we gonna unshim it to?
I mean, obviously we could probably hack that out pretty quickly, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But I'm just mostly leaning that these guys look like they will probably kick the shit out of us. I would recommend our not trying to go toe-to-toe with them.
Yes. And in fact, I'll say fall back. We'll go to a choke point, which is the doorway.
Okay. So Fisk and Lakshmi move with alacrity.
Surprising. Like, oh shit, I'm out.
And your light begins to recede.
Follow the light.
Yep.
And you can hear the audience can hear the heavy pulsing music as you all retreat out of the door, and these glowing snake skeletons begin to follow you, not rapidly, but with a menace. You are standing outside of the doors, which are open, and you have some jammed iron pegs and Chekhov's hammer in the ceiling. What would you like to do?
I think that while they work on the levers or whatever, I probably will hold the doorway. I have a shield. I also have zealous spite, so I'm particularly damaging to these things, and a nasty thing. But when they give me the signal, I will fall back so they will follow me. But I am going to go for a full defensive thing to hold them there.
Okay.
In that doorway.
And I will fall back behind the large woman with the shields. Yep. I'm not cowering. I'm taking up a defensive position.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would say probably, I don't know how big Fisk is, but probably I and Fisk or I and Lakshmi on each side are probably going to kind of try and dig out the blocking stuff.
Okay.
In an intelligent manner.
Okay. So, Rook stands steadfast in front of the door, in the doorway, with the doors to your sides. Where in the choke point are you?
I do not want them to be able to get me from the sides, so one of them at a time. So I'm probably in the doorway per se, where they
Sure.
would have to come, like straight on to get to me. So I'm going to use what little thing I have. So I'm probably right where the hammer would fall.
Okay.
Truth be told. So
Right. Okay. So the glowing snake skeletons don't come for you directly. They move in the darkness, but they're easy to follow. And at a moment when some unheard signal is made, the two of them rush you very rapidly with the spears, and come at you for your shield with the pointy ends of their spears. So why don't you roll? Well, do you let them strike your shield, or do you do something else? You're muted.
Sorry, by the way, that's the price of playing with me. I will speak across mute all the time.
Right.
So essentially, I am defending with my shield. That is what I declared. I don't know what the mechanics are for it, so that's
Sure.
what I'm doing.
Okay. So you want to intercept their spears with your shield. Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. So make a strength roll, and because two of them are attacking you at once, add 2 to your roll.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to re-roll this. Got an 18, so I do not succeed. I have decent strength, but not that good.
Okay, so you rolled 18, or you rolled a 16, got 18 total.
I rolled 18.
Okay.
No, so
right.
you add 20.
Okay. So the spears strike your. One of them strikes the shield and shatters the. But the shrapnel like flies towards you. You duck your head down and leave yourself slightly open on your right hand side, and the other spear hits you for 2 points of damage.
Okay.
And the head stays in you when the snake removes the haft of the spear.
All right. All right. So I have armor. So does that assist or cause any or change things at all?
Sure, absolutely. So you can. What is your armor value?
It is AV2.
Okay, so you can spend one of those 2, and nothing like your armor will take all of the damage.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, when you have a chance to rest, you can try to repair that piece of your armor.
That's what I would like to do.
Okay, so rewinding just a little bit, you leave yourself slightly open, and the spear hits. What kind of armor do you have?
I have a hard leather.
Okay, hits the hardened leather, and the haft bends, and the spear spear tip falls to the ground. Both of the snake warriors now have brittle wooden staves at this point, and you have held fast. Because I like the drama of it, and it's been a while, I need another usage die on the torch roll.
Okay. That be my one. So we just roll like a 1d6 if I have
the d6 for you, and Lakshmi needs to roll a d4.
Okay. I rolled a 6.
Okay, that's
You rolled
perfectly
2.
fine. Okay.
I think I did.
All right. The torches stay lit. You're muted, Shane.
I never remember it because I play also Macchiato Monsters. I never remember, is it only down on 1 for Black Hack, or is it down on 1 or 2?
Just 1.
Just 1, okay.
As far as I remember.
Yeah.
That's how I'm playing today, if I see it later. So, Milo, you and Lakshmi are doing what to the debris on top of the peg?
I think probably digging it out with like daggers or something like that, just to kind of like get it out of there in time for when it makes sense to just have it all go out at the same time.
Okay, so the two of you are rapidly like pulling the debris out, and you feel like you will in a moment have it ready.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say or do at this point?
I think I mean, watching what's going on with Rook, I probably will shout to Rook and tell them to like just to jump out of the way or get out of the way to one side and onto the ground, probably.
Okay.
And also to Lakshmi to tell them to get up against the wall.
Okay. So, all I need from you is a dexterity check to see if you can get to the wall in time. I'm not gonna. This will also Lakshmi's gonna follow your lead.
Okay.
So whatever you do, she will do.
All right. I will do a dex check then.
Okay.
This count as nimble expertise?
Yes.
All right. Then I will roll with advantage then.
Oh, it's a 1 or a 2. Ah, geez. Okay.
Yeah, just on the D4.
On the D4 itself.
Yeah.
Ah. Okay.
Oh, it's only on the D4 that it's 1 or 2. Interesting. Okay. So I'm rolling with advantage. Oh! Nope.
No. What happened?
Double 18s.
Double 18s. Well, that's a thing.
That's the thing.
Um.
Good thing we have a hireling. Another hireling.
Right. Okay. So,
Good thing, man.
yeah. So, Rook jumps to the ground and rolls out of the way. The snakes enter into the doorway, and you pull out the bits at the last moment, and the hammer comes falling down, and it hits you and the snakes, and you will all take 2d6 plus 4 damage.
All right.
So if I roll 2 1s, you live.
Well, I still can live.
Oh, well, you have armor though, right?
I do.
Okay. So you can easily survive this.
Yeah.
So 7 plus 2 is 9 damage.
All right. Let's see here. I have maybe 2. No, I have maybe 1.
Okay. So you spend that
Yep.
armor. The hammer hits Milo and knocks her into and through the snake skeletons, which are shattered on impact. And you fly through the doorway and tumble along the ground, landing below the tapestry. You feel sore and bruised, but you have somehow lived through this. As the bones fall to the ground, their blue glow fades away, and pieces of armor fall to the ground. What do you all do?
I think Gandhi will see this happen, and I'll go. It sounds like Rook is closest to me.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll move to her and just ask if she's okay.
Fine. So, sort of, we'll get the lights back around and go and check on everyone, and I think that would be the best thing, and then check that armor and those spearheads.
Okay.
Do we hear anything else moving around once we retrieve Milo?
So you go to retrieve Milo. She apparently has she has some of the 9 lives that a cat would have, and has survived this. I imagine you put your hand out and she stands up.
I'll reach down to help her up and say, well, I think that went very well. I make like a show of kind of dusting off my fancy attire. I think that went pretty well.
Awesome. So you do not hear anything for a few moments, and then you hear something back in the first hallway, and Fisk is like, the hammer's going back up?
Ooh. Okay.
Is the door closed?
No, it's open.
No.
Huh. Interesting.
Oh, and the pegs are coming down too.
All right. Well, I guess.
Stand away from it.
Yeah, stay away from it. Is it gonna fall now again?
So Fisk and Lakshmi join you in the ovoid room, and you eventually hear like some clicks as the hammer recedes into the ceiling, and then moments later the pegs, having reached the bottom, start clicking their way back up to the top, and then the hammer comes back down again.
All right, so this thing's just gonna keep on going while we're all right. Well,
Seems fine.
this will be fine.
Let's just remember this on our way out.
It seems wasteful, though. Like we could be running a mill off of it or something. Okay.
Don't ask questions. So,
Okay.
this throne, you say?
Well, to answer what Rook had said before, there are 2 pieces of chainmail that would fit anybody. Actually, it would fit the wizard best because of the portly nature of the wizard, and it is an armor value of 3, I think, but 2 of the piece they need to be repaired. So all 3 dice are broken, so they can be repaired and made into good armor. And it's silver too, so it could just be broken down into like for its value in silver as well. The spearheads are they're steel, but the wood that they were attached to had rotted so much that they were nearly useless. You said you approached the throne, Milo?
Yeah, I would like to see what's up with the throne.
Okay. Lakshmi, at this point, has decided that you are the luckiest person in the world, and is standing very close behind you.
All right.
And so you have a torch guiding your way.
All right.
And you see a stone throne with some snake imagery cut into it, and some of the writing that you saw in the prayer book written along the bottom of the stone. It is roughly carved. Does not appear to be part of the original design.
Yeah.
It matches the language in the prayer book, or it matches the words
language.
in the, okay.
Well, might I try to read it by any chance?
Sure. So you went on an adventure,
Mhm.
and you found the Yuan Ti.
Mhm.
Did you have something that, like, in your past that as part of that adventure, did you learn some of the language, or?
So I believe that I was. Let's see what they with that.
Did you recover some books from your adventure?
What was that?
Did you recover some books in your adventure that would have?
No, that's an interesting question. Did I recover any books? Not a lot. I think unfortunately it was probably more spoken than anything else. Now that I think about it, because I feel like I think I went with another like a smuggler partner or something like that, and we're going to kind of like collect payment from some Yuan Ti. And I think probably in so doing, I probably kind of learned a little bit of the language just for speaking. I don't know if I would have learned it from a book. Maybe I would. I don't know. Yeah, so that's an interesting question. I guess probably not writing, now that I think about it.
Okay.
So
well, let's say that your partner, the other smuggler, I want to give you at least a chance to see.
Yeah.
So they had like a phrase book.
Sure. Okay.
And so roll on your memory, your intelligence, to see if you grasp some of those words.
All right. And will this qualify as roguish talents? Where it says understanding written languages?
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Great. I will do that with advantage.
Roll 2 18s.
I'd really like to not roll 2 18s. Reroll. Nope.
Okay.
No luck.
So I will tell you that there is one word that is so obvious in its association. No, king.
King. Okay, sure.
Like, there's no way you could have not have recognized it in the context that you're in.
Sure.
But that's all you get out of it.
Gotcha.
We also know the rune for snake. So
yeah.
We have 2. We're developing ourselves a little Rosetta Stone here.
Yeah.
Snake and king. Yep. Sure.
Do I see? So, having looked around this, throne, do I notice anything? Does it look like it's been moved? Does it look like it's been scratched? Are there kind of like scratches in it or lines in it where I might be able to kind of like, I don't know, pry it open or anything like that? Or does it look like it's kind of like just, it sits here and that is what it does?
I see. Well, the first thing you notice as you walk around the throne is that the water, the rivulet, is pooling around the throne and still heading to the south, and that there's a chamber further to the south behind the throne. The tapestry that would have visually hidden the door or the hallway has since fallen apart.
Okay. And the water's going that way.
Water's going that way.
Okay.
The stone throne is it's fairly ornate. You recognize that there's good craftsmanship here. If you could like break off the back or something like that, you might be able to sell it for something. But you don't see that like it's scraped along the floor or there's a panel that could open up or anything like that. You don't find anything of that nature.
Okay. Cool. Well, I will stick that away in my head that I might be able to kind of like come back and pry this off and take it out at some point, but I guess that's not going to happen right now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I guess we'll start moving towards this, following the water, moving towards this other room.
Okay. So, who goes into the room? Milo, Lakshmi, and anybody else? Anybody else doing anything else? I don't want to tell you what you're doing.
Nope. Feed a cracker to Brandy and watch and wait.
Okay. Okay. So, you begin to walk into the southern room, and I'd like to read this to you directly from the book. Before you is a giant statue of a hideous snake man god, resembling a cross between a toad, a heap of intestines, and a melted candle. The water runs into the room and collects along the side of the statue, the base of the statue. and seems to be trickling away under that.
Well, I'm going to guess there's something under there.
Do I know the name of this snake god? Is this a known god in the pantheon of the Black Hack universe?
Let's see a wisdom roll, and I'll let you know based off of that.
That matches my wisdom. No, it doesn't. It's 12. It beats it. It's 11. So, yeah.
It's just over your...
No, sorry. I rolled just under. I have a 12 wisdom and rolled an 11.
Great.
Yes. Okay. So, yes, you know of this god. It is a minor god that is... It drove the Yuan Ti to war many times, and praises its followers for acts of torture and but also for sticking in a community. So it's a god of the, like, we stick together and destroy all the outsiders kind of thing.
Okay.
And you can make up the name of the god if you'd like.
Oh, okay. Let me think about that. I'm going to go for Shema.
Okay.
XMA.
You also know what its symbol would look like in their language.
So different from the symbol for king that we saw.
Different.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Now we know 3 words in Yuan Ti.
All right. So do we want to? Do we just want to move this thing? I mean, it seems pretty obvious that there's some, like a hole or something like that under this. You want to just like put our shoulders into it, just move it out.
Check for a lever, and then if we don't find one,
where do you suggest checking for a lever?
back of the throne.
Okay.
That kind of thing in the wall on the back of the statue.
Okay, so yeah, so I'll do kind of like I'll do a circuit around the room, see if there's anything that looks like it might kind of be some sort of mechanical way of moving this, or maybe seeing if there's something mechanical on the statue itself.
You find to the east of the statue scrape marks, but you do not find any levers.
Okay. So it would appear as though we would kind of swing it in that direction, basically.
Yep.
To move it. Okay.
I will assist.
Okay. So yeah, I guess the 2 of us will kind of try and shove it in that direction. See what happens.
Okay. The 2 of you push against the statue, and it begins to move. And you see that there, after a drop down of about 6 feet or so, there's a small little chamber under it with some stairs that lead downward. There is some crumbled wooden pieces attached to the bottom of the statue, like just two shafts of wood along the bottom, but what they do or what they did isn't obvious.
Does it look like it would have been like a ladder thing or something?
They're too far apart, you think, for that? But
And it might have been how they moved it or something like that from below, if they were coming back up or something like that.
that might be it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. What does it smell like down there?
What does it smell like? The air is stale. There, it is also cold, down there. You do smell bat guano. It's faint, but you're an adventurer, so you recognize it. That's about all the smells you can get out of it. It's much colder once. Well, I assume that you get down in the chamber. Once
Yeah.
you're in the chamber, yeah, like it's really cold. But the breeze, there's no longer a breeze. The breeze was up in the ovoid room.
The backline is interesting, because that would lead me to think that A, there are or have been bats in here, and B, if that is the case, then there has to be another way out of here, because they would need to be able to leave and come back.
Yep.
Hmm.
But it could be a very small entrance for the bats.
True.
So,
Okay. Yeah, I mean, so if we go down the stairs, with torches lit and whatnot, what do we find at the landing of the stairs?
Okay. What's your marching order?
I guess either I or either I or Rook probably can take lead.
Or Fist we can do torch in front and torch in back. I know Lakshmi lost her torch, but Rook, did you pull a torch out?
Rook still has the torch.
Yeah.
You want to give that to Lakshmi so that we just
definitely.
Okay.
So yeah, if you and Lakshmi go first, okay. I'll help the mage down and join me.
Nice. Yeah, so that sounds good. And then we can have maybe Fisk in the back or something.
Sure.
Okay. So, I'm now seeing that I'm not displaying what I want to display. Okay. Well, this is a little more information than I wanted to be able to give you at once, but I did not screen cap what I was looking for, so live and learn. So, there is more in front of you.
Where are we going?
Where we drop?
I should have changed the page on roll 20 for you.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Just wondering which direction are we coming from?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're coming from the left in the center.
Okay.
So, as you get down to the bottom of the stairs, you're in a very wide hallway. All of you, well, 4 of you could stand abreast in the hallway, except for the fact that there are 6 more statues in this room. 3 on the left, or in this hallway. 3 on the left and 3 on the right. And they are snake men, snake people, Yuan Ti, standing with the snake tails and human arms and a snake head. And they all have the spears, but they're completely made out of stone. And so there are 6 of them, and then the light flows into a much larger room in the middle of the map. But you can see pretty much to the end of the hallway.
So they appear to just be statues, yes?
Say again?
They appear to just be statues?
Well, they're not, attacking you. So they are statuesque, if nothing else.
There we go. Okay.
Are they identical?
Just for the torch, yes, they appear to be identical.
Okay. So they don't seem like they have like different roles or some sort of meaning, but they're just lining the hallway?
They're not wearing different clothes or whatnot.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. No, I take it back. The first 2, the one on your left and right, appear to have had black paint at some point in time. The 2 in the middle had a reddish gold, and the 2 at the far end had green.
Okay. I think I'll probably walk up to them. Maybe the first one on the left. Just kind of like gently tap at it with a dagger or a crowbar or something like that. I just want to see, like, are they solid or are they hollow?
The first one on the left, you say?
Yeah.
So you tap on the statue. I forgot to mention that these are like raised up on like a 2-foot tall base, like a squarish base. And the statues themselves are solid, but the base that you tap on is not as solid.
Okay. And if I check other ones, is it the same?
Say again?
If I check other ones, do I get the same situation? Solid?
No, no. All of the rest of the statues are solid throughout.
And their bases?
And their bases are solid as well.
Okay, so just this one is hollow.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess, is there anything else unusual about this one under torchlight and under a little bit heavier investigation?
How are you investigating?
Let's see here. Let's see here. It's a statue. It's on the floor. I would probably look for similar, maybe scrape marks or something like that, like we saw above. I'd probably also kind of probably compare and see if I can maybe get a dagger or something like that, either under the statue or under the base, and compare that to one of the other ones.
Okay. So along the 4 corners of the base, you do find small scrape marks.
Okay.
And on the corner closest to you as you walked in, you're able to get your dagger up under it. The rest of them seem to be solid with the stone floor.
Well, I mean, it seems like this might be somehow movable in some way. There might be some sort of mechanism or something.
The scrape marks seem to be curved.
So it's rotating?
So rotates. or in theory, it rotates.
Yeah.
Are there any holes or anything like that in the base? I think? Are there any holes in the base?
So you feel along the base and you look at it with the torch, and you find a subtle indentation along it, like very subtle, just like it's curved inward a little bit.
Sure. Okay.
And then you find it, you find that on each side.
Okay. And it's just an indentation. It's not like I can't like dig stuff out of that or anything like that. It's not like a hole that's been kind of like packed up with stuff. It's just an indentation.
I mean, there was dust there, but there's nothing else there.
Okay.
Can you press on it? Is that good?
Sure. I can try kind of like pushing on those indentations before they for something.
Okay. So which indentation are you pushing on?
Let's say you said the one closest to the door that we came in.
Okay. And so, what are you putting in the indentation to move it?
I'm gonna push my dagger into it.
The pointy end or the pommel end?
I'll say the pointy end.
Okay. It doesn't move, and eventually your dagger scrapes along.
Okay.
But nothing else happens.
So,
But you... Yeah, go ahead.
so if we picture the base,
Yeah.
and it's like a box in front of us, are the indentations like this? Like they would be like down a ways from it, like on both sides?
If you had a... If this is the base that you were standing in front of, this is where the indentation is. Oh, you can't see it. This is where the indentation would be, right here.
Oh, right in the middle?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, maybe we try one of the... I will go ahead and try doing the same thing on each of the sides. I'll go in clockwise direction.
Okay. And you're using your dagger, you said? Okay. The second time, when you go to the north-facing one, between you and the wall, you two things. One, Lakshmi's torch. You can see like the wall has a gap in it, a very tiny gap behind the statue.
Okay.
As you try to push with your dagger, again, it slips, but you feel like it. You feel like you just needed more pressure, and the tip of your dagger is just not applying the pressure correctly.
Okay. So do I feel like I need something kind of like bigger or wider or like with more leverage or
more contact space?
Okay.
Pommel, I think.
Yeah, either a pommel or perhaps one of those spears.
Yeah, did we actually take those things?
No, but they're just backing up the room.
Just right up, yeah.
So Fisk heads back and grabs the hafts of the spears, and you take one of them and you push, and you can feel how brittle the haft is in your hands, but then the statue begins to rotate.
Okay.
And it continues to rotate, and then as the statue faces towards the east, you hear a click directly behind you.
All right. I will slowly turn and look behind me.
There's the wall.
Okay. You said there's a draft.
The draft was upstairs.
Oh, it was upstairs. Okay.
So sorry, when the statue rotated,
yes.
Did it rotate out of the way to reveal a doorway, or is it still just wall behind where the statue was?
There's wall behind the statue, but the torch revealed earlier that the wall isn't that it has a gap in it.
Oh.
Right. That sorry, I guess that was the draft that I was referring to.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The draft.
Yeah.
Okay.
But a moment later, the wall just kind of moves inward a little bit, and you can see that it's like a doorway.
Oh. All right. Rook, you want to take point on going through here?
Sure.
Okay. So you head northward into a hallway. The paint along the walls has been faded for a very long time, but you can still see bits and pieces of Yuan Ti doing Yuan Ti in urban settings, like in cities and things like that. One part that is left is a giant serpent surrounding a tower, like a castle tower or a wizard's tower, maybe. And you can tell from where the paint is faded in a certain spot that it's been touched many times along the bottom of the tower. There's a chamber in front of you, and as you shine the light, you see quite a few things. There are two wooden pegs in the wall with robes hung on them. In front of you is a skeletal Yuan Ti holding on to a small book, and there is light glimmering off of the west and eastern walls, and you think you see the shine of metal. And I'm putting you just at the edge of the room, inside the hallway.
How far across to where the Yuan Ti skeleton is?
Its back is up against the wall directly in front of you, so about 10 feet.
Okay. Well, we've already seen undead, so I do think that. And you mentioned that there was something on the wall that had been touched many times.
Yes.
Was there a significant part of the design right there, like that serpent, or was that just like maybe is there a button or something to push?
So you turn the torch back to the wall, to your left on the western side, and you see the face of a snake painted on the wall and wrapped around a tower, of some sort, and at where you're about where your hand would be if you're just keeping it to your side, at that level is where the paint is missing.
And
That's
this feels like it's probably like some sort of like, and if we just went through a secret door, this is probably how you open a secret door from the other side. If I were to guess.
We can try it. See if that works.
We would have to close the door first.
Okay. I suppose I would touch that space just to see what happens.
It moves in a little bit.
All right. That's interesting. I'll bring the torch down to take a little bit better look at it and see what it is opening up to.
What it is opening up to.
You said it moves in a little bit.
Yeah, like it
As in a button?
yeah, like a button.
Oh, sorry. Goodness golly. I'm sorry. I was almost okay, great. There's a button. Awesome. So we'll, if we push the button, does something happen?
You hear a click.
Okay. So does it sound like the click that we heard earlier out in the hallway?
Remarkably so.
You were saying
All
something
right.
about metal
Yeah.
on the walls or something?
Yes.
In the
They're-
room.
In the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay. I will just step in. Again, I'll have my hammer out in case the skeletal turns out to be big time fun undead.
Okay.
But
Okay. You said you step into the room.
Mhm.
Okay. As you look to your left and your right, on the walls are these ancient wooden. Well, I'll just describe it to you like this. You've probably seen in movies or in pictures like stands holding up like Japanese swords.
Mhm.
So there are two curved swords, unsheathed swords, resting on some lacquered wood held in the wall. And you can see the skeleton. There are, as you've gotten a little bit into the room, you can see that the robes bear the image of the silver tongues, and there's like a red circle behind it. So like a red circle, and then the dagger, and then the snake wrapped around it. They look to be in pretty good shape.
I think given that we have a silver-tongued dagger and an amulet, it's probably worth taking robes in case we need to
Guys are
put on airs as if we belong here.
Granted, we aren't snake people, but you know that's
True, but okay. Does it have a hood? I'm guessing we could.
So
at least...
I want to point out something just because I'm not sure it was obvious. The skeletons in the first hallway had legs.
Oh, okay.
So maybe there were some humans that were serving the
But they had
snake.
snake-like skulls.
I see. Okay.
So every skeleton you've seen so far has had a snake-like skull.
So a humanoid, a bipedal humanoid with a snake head.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe we could deceive, at least make an attempt at deceiving someone into thinking we're someone or something, into thinking we ought to be here.
yeah, we might be able to find a mask or repurpose something. So that sounds good.
Sure. Toss them in the bag. What are we going to do with the swords?
Well, they're on those stands, so I want to be careful that taking it off those stands didn't cause something to happen. But other than that, I'm all for popping everything in the bag. So
Okay. So you're You're handing everything to Lakshmi to put in the bag. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, as Lakshmi steps into the room with you, a piece of stone begins to slowly move downward at the entrance to the room.
Maybe we want to get out.
Step back, Lakshmi.
Mm-hmm.
What if I shout at Lakshmi to step back to where she was? Does it stop the? Because she would be the first one to go. She was the last one in, so she'd be the first one out. Does it stop moving when she steps out?
Is it a weight-based thing?
It, yes, it does stop.
Okay. So the like the whole floor is a pressure player. Yeah, like Sherry said, like if it's above a certain weight, it's going to come down. So
Gotcha.
Lakshmi,
Yeah.
hey, stay there, my friend.
All right.
Which suggests taking stuff out of there may change things a little too.
Oh,
Yeah.
good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Maybe we just leave things here for the time being.
Sounds good.
Copacetic, etc.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. There is a book in the hand of one of the, or in the hand of the skeletal creature. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely want to investigate that. I don't take it out, but I go look at it and see what the cover looks like first.
So now you're in the room with Rook?
So I thought we were all in the room,
No.
except for Lakshmi.
No.
No.
Rook was in the room and then Lakshmi stepped in. No
Right.
one described going into the room otherwise.
Oh, okay.
We'll be taking turns. Apparently.
In that, yeah. I mean, if I am interested in what is on that
Okay. So
book, so
why don't we pull out and you can go in and you can be.
Okay.
Exactly.
Oh man, I hope I don't weigh as much as two people. Yeah, I'll go in.
Rook, mind you, has armor and a giant shield.
That's a point.
And a hammer. So hopefully
Yes.
a little lighter.
So, but yes, I will step out and allow you to go and examine the things.
Okay, I
Okay.
will do that.
Okay, so there were 6 things in this room that I described. A skeleton, a book, 2 swords, and 2 cloaks, as well as some wooden fixtures that I'm not going to bother describing. What happens to those 6 things before you walk into the room?
Oh, you mean what do we do with them?
Yeah.
I think
Nothing.
I think we decided that once we realized that there was a weight-based thing that we left them.
Okay.
That seemed we can try to pick out what's going to be the most important thing and grab it later. But
Okay. So the swords remain on the wall. The cloaks remain on their hooks.
Yeah.
There's a skeleton on the floor. Gandhi walks in and looks at the book.
Without
the book-
touching it, just peering at it.
Okay. It's a small leather-bound journal. The room is really dry, and the book is pretty preserved.
I'll turn and say to the people collected in the hallway, I really want to take this book.
does the skeleton look like it was someone who got caught in the room? Or is it a display thing?
Oh, no, it looks like someone, slid down and sat with their back to the wall.
Okay.
And sorry, this is a Yuan-ti?
1T, yes.
Okay.
Like they tried to steal something.
Or they just died in here.
Exactly.
Yeah. The book is closed.
The book is closed.
Okay.
There is a quill in the other hand.
Oh.
And
I really want to open this book. Guys, can I open this book?
Sure, open the book.
Not in the room.
It's a door.
Pardon?
We're not in the room.
Okay, I'm gonna grab the book.
Okay.
I've been Gandhi's been far too careful and loves information and is just his interest is too piqued by this.
So you open the book. Inside is the flowing script of the snake people that you've become used to. And it is very organized at the beginning. But when you get to the end, the hand appears to be shaking a lot, and there is a drawing in it, and I need to add that, so give me just a moment. And perfect. And if you'll look to roll 20, this is what you see.
Ooh. Okay. That's a bit creepy.
And the writing around it is, let's just say it's angry looking.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna keep the book.
Okay.
In case it serves us any purpose in the future.
Oh.
Like we can figure out how to read it.
There is one thing that I forgot. Every so often, you see names written in the common language.
Okay. How do I know their names? I mean, are they like just? It's like Susan and Jeffrey.
Yeah, exactly.
Like.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Now,
in the same hand as the writing in the snake tongue, or is this like marginalia? Someone else wrote it. Same.
Yeah, it's been embedded in the text actually.
Okay. Interesting. All right. I'll just kind of turn back to them. Like, there's some weird stuff in this book. I think we should hang on to it. Shall I try to bring anything else out of here with me? A robe, perhaps.
We can use a stick.
It is cold. That's what Fisk says. It is cold.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind Milo taking a check on things to see if he can see any of these things actually being like levers. I'm a little uncertain about moving those swords, that's for sure.
Sure. Yeah, if people want to pull out, I'll go in.
Sure. We can trade places.
Do a little bit of feeling around the bases of the thing, seeing if there's any kind of like scratches anywhere with regards to the what's holding the swords, etc.
Okay. You're the only one in the room.
Mm-hmm.
The skeleton is before you, and you begin to look around the room, and finally, when you turn towards the door, you see along the left and right hand sides of the door runes carved into the wall.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot to mention, this is all stonework now. There's no more earthen ceilings or walls. You are in completely stoneworked areas.
We're stoned. All right.
Yeah, you are stoned.
Okay. I will make a note of. I'll shout to Gandhi to let him know that those are there, but I'll continue my investigation so that to see as to whether the swords are removable without any danger.
Okay. So let's say you head to the west wall. What do you do?
I will walk over to the west wall, and I think I'm very hesitant with regards to pegs at this point in time. It sounds like there's pegs with swords hanging, kind of like cradled on.
But they're lacquered. It's lacquered wood. It's really nice.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'll see as to like maybe I'll start to just slightly lift the sword off, see if anything.
Okay.
Bizarre goes.
You lightly lift the sword, and nothing happens.
Okay. So then I will go ahead and just take the sword off.
And you now have a sword.
All right. I will take the other sword as well, and then I will walk into the hallway, give them to Lakshmi to put into the bag, and then let Gandhi go take a look at those runes. Okay.
So the cloaks remain on the wall?
Yes, I will let Gandhi go ahead and grab the cloaks if he wants to grab those while he's looking at the runes.
All right. So what do you do, Gandhi?
Gandhi.
Sorry.
I'd rather pretentiously correct you as I walk past. Sure, I'll examine the rooms. The runes. I think between the sheets that I pulled out of the first book and then the other journal, I'll kind of try to cross-reference and see if I can start piecing this. I know I only know a few of these runes at this point, but just see if I can make any sense of what are those puzzles that, it's like you start like cross-referencing letters to see if you like notice patterns, and then like, you know what I mean? Like I'm trying to see if I can figure out any of these runes like through repetition or relation to one another and make any sense out of this.
Okay. With the book that you have, I'm going to give you advantage on this. So roll intelligence.
Okay. There we go. So that's a success.
Okay. So there are 3 symbols along written downward on each side of the door. They're both the same on each side. And when you're looking through the book, right in front of someone's name is the middle symbol. And you see that symbol over and over in the book. Now it's in the snake script, but it is the same symbol. It's just like cursive instead of like blocky. And then the first symbol appears to you. You see the first symbol and then the second symbol, and then you see 2 names. The third symbol is an almost universal rule that gets used in magic, and it refers to doors or portals. You're muted. Mute. You're muted. You're muted.
3 symbols.
Yep.
On either side of the door.
Yep.
This symbol up here has 2 names associated with it.
In the book, you will see that symbol and the symbol below it, and then 2 names. And then in other parts of the book, you just see the middle symbol and 1 name.
Okay, and then the third symbol is associated with magic portals.
No, it's a magic symbol that is associated with portals or doors.
Okay. The names are the names that are in common?
Yes.
I'm going to show this. I'm going to show this to Milo. Show the because we're in the like. I'm going to kind of reach across the threshold with the book and show Milo while I stand in the room and ask if she's seen any of these names, because I mean, she has some experience with the UNT, to see if like any of this makes any sense to her, and explain the connection to the symbols inside the door.
Okay. So I love the collaboration role playing, but you did succeed on the roll, so I'm going to summarize some stuff for you. Milo recognizes the first the second symbol as marking something that gets counted. And then you figure out, based off of context, that the first symbol means 2. So 2 things that are counted, and then door.
Well, there's 2 swords in this room.
And they've left the room.
And 2 robes. Yeah, there were 2 swords in there. 2 robes, 2 swords. So this I'm guessing this doorway becomes a portal that leads to another part of the dungeon. For example, if a person were wearing 2 things that are counted, robe plus sword, passing through the doorway would activate the magic symbol, making it a portal to another location.
Possible. And the other thing is that it just might be that, it might be a reference to the whole like weight thing, i.e. 2 people in the room is going to do something.
What if this original Wanty was in there with someone else and they left with something with them and the door came down? Something like that, or some sort of trick like that, he was stuck in here, clearly was stuck in here.
Yeah.
Well, they
And
weren't.
someone left
They weren't. There was no like. There was the door that leads into the hallway was closed. Yes, but the door that was starting, or the stone that was starting to close was up. Is open.
So was he hiding here? I don't get it. Okay.
I'm interested in Gandhi is interested in trying out his hypothesis.
Okay.
If none of my other party object,
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna put a robe on and take a sword and from the inside and step through the doorway. Unless 2 people have to do it, and that's the 2 things that need to be counted. Like the other, which would actually make sense. The other person couldn't leave because they were in there by themselves. I don't know. I'm going to try my hypothesis. Hand me one of those swords there, Milo.
Will do.
I put on a robe.
Okay. You feel warm.
It's nice. Very good. Grab a sword. And I with a sort of a smug look, as if I'm about to disappear through the doorway, I stride toward it and through.
Okay. You, Gandhi and Brandy step through the doorway, and nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
Well, you might be embarrassed, but nothing physically happens.
I doubt he's embarrassed.
I'm not. Well, it was
meant to do that.
It was worth an effort, and I feel quite warm.
All right, let's move on.
All right.
Ooh,
So-
could it be an elevator?
You've got 2 swords and a cloak. Do you do anything with the final cloak or the skeleton?
Skeleton, no. I think we should take the other cloak.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll step back in and grab it. I still think there's something. There's a magic symbol that says portal here. I still think there's something to be done here, but I am also fine with not continuously trying to figure this out.
Well, when a second person stepped in, the floor started to fall, right? Started
When
to
La-
go
when- when
down,
Lakshmi-
or the door went down, right?
When Rook was in the room and Lakshmi stepped in, the stone started descending.
And the stone. So here's my doorway with the runes on it.
Yeah.
The stone that was coming down was basically the jam of that doorway.
Yes.
So
But
it's
if
gonna closing the doorway, basically.
But creating a portal.
You can come back and experiment with it after we get further in.
Yeah, fine.
See, I think it was a safe elevator thing. You have to close the door before you go down
Right.
there. Very modern, safe thing. No,
I just wanted to give a quick time check. It's
Yeah, no, I'm ready to, yeah. All right, so this is where we're going to stop for today.
Okay.
Other than the nonstop trap of the hammer door, you have easy access to leave. If you'd like to go back to town, if you'd like to investigate the book, if you'd like to sell some things, that would be great. We can do that between sessions.
Okay. I mean, maybe potentially resupplying at least some torches because we haven't found any new ones, and we have, one. So we could also eat in town and not use rations. So
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
and maybe we could find someone who could translate Guanti.
Yes, absolutely.
So, you all survived. Congratulations.
Glad I had armor.
I know, right? Shane, will you be able to make it back for the next session?
So I'm not going to promise yes. It'll probably mostly depend on what is going on next Saturday. I'm able to do this because my wife is out of town. If she's out, then maybe, but otherwise probably not because I have a game. I have a standing game on Sundays as well, so I don't want to kind of take the entire weekend with gaming. So
okay.
We'll.
If you make it back,
mm-hmm.
then we'll proceed as normal. If you don't, we'll say that the hammer did worse damage than you expected, and and you end up staying in town to recuperate. So, let's go ahead and end the broadcast.